Oh my goodness, this thing is actually ripping. I am super stoked to see it finally come together and do a wheel stand. But we didn't get much time to actually film the old wheel stand until this thing actually broke. So back to the drawing board, I ended up pretzeling the drive side motor mount. So bit of a bummer, but we're going to do a bit of a refabrication and we'll get it sorted. As well as the chain line is actually wrong, so we need to actually raise the motor a bit. So I don't know if you guys picked up on that at all, but the chain line's definitely wrong. We need to raise it a bit because the chain is sitting directly on the chain guide, which is no good. It's going to wear straight through that and then start wearing through the swing arm. So we're going to fix those things and getting this thing ripping. We're going to send it. Hopefully in this episode we will be sending it. So let's do it.
Yeah, so is that cool if I use your song in my YouTube video? Yeah, I'll credit you in that. Nice one.
Maybe I'm calling for you, and I'm stuck in a loop.
So we fully blew up the gearbox of the 90H V3. Unfortunately, this motor is not very high quality. It is really cheap Chinese rubbish, and yeah, we completely obliterated the actual bearing housing in the front of the motor case, and she's pretty much cactus. So we got a new motor. It's the 90H water cooled, no gearbox. This thing should hopefully be reliable. It will mean we have to run a massive sprocket in the rear in order to make the torque that we want to make. But hopefully this thing will be reliable. Now hopefully this time round it's going to be made a little bit easier to mount because Elmofo now make a bracket with an actual mounting point in the rear. This is probably going to cut down on like half the fabrication because now I can just focus on making the rear strut back to the swing arm and that's sorted. So, and then once that's done, it's just sorting out spacings in the front, and yeah, it's really going to cut down a lot of time. So I'm really stoked they've done that this time around.
It's your time. Don't be held back again. Resist, you're on limits. This fire is burning.
so we have ourselves a pizza. Yes, this is the sprocket we gotta run in order to make decent torque when you don't have a gearbox. So this is the 72 sprocket. I'll leave a link in the description down below of the company that made this for me. Gonna have to do a bit of modification. Gonna have to cut that chain guide, get it down further in order to clear the sprocket. So that'll be fun.
Been a long time, I've been waiting for you. I got my feelings up and it's just for you. I just need.
All right, time to test her out. We're here at the beautiful motocross track and we're actually gonna test this 90H out, 72 sprocket. We came out here last time with gearbox 90H, blew it up. Then we came out here with normal 90H, but with 51.2 sprocket, had no bottom end, struggling to clear most jumps. Now we've got bottom end. We've now got good bottom end and we've got some good top end. We should be laughing. Let's go give her a rip. All right, let's go for a lap. Just jumped out on track. First little jump here, nice little, I don't know, it's probably like a little 40 foot, nothing major. Coming up to the first 60 foot. Now I was so bummed on the day I actually didn't have enough bottom end to clear that. I tried to come up short by about a bike length. It hurt quite a bit. But yeah, just that 72 rear sprocket, I just didn't quite have that bottom end in order to clear it. Little triple there, I just went double, single off. Still yet to triple that. So coming out of this corner, she's real muddy, real sloppy. Only just putting the power down for that 50 foot. I've definitely got the torque, but the top end is definitely lacking. Little step up here, boom! Hammer on the gas for the 70 foot table, bang! Only just making that, making the bike really scream in order to make that. Here we go, I'm going to skip the rhythm section here. Still not quite feeling comfortable on the bike to have a go at that rhythm section, mainly because of this big double, boom! It's a pretty big double, that one, so if I don't have the power off those other doubles, I'm not going to clear that double, so I'm not even trying at the moment. Here's the big 70, woohoo, yeah, biggest jump out in the track, that one. Good, fun jump. Actually, like one of the easiest to do once you get over the mind game. Little double there, very small little double. It's actually quite a painful double, that one. Sometimes it can send you rear high. Rollers, I hate rollers. I don't understand rollers. As you can tell, I'm not a racer in the slightest. I love to send it, but I'm definitely not a racer. You can tell this is a very cruisy lap. Also trying to preserve battery. Here we go. Some people triple that. I am never going to triple that. That is, that's quite a send to triple that one. Here we go, last 60 foot, bang, only just making that jump, only just getting the power down. A lot of the time throughout the day of doing laps, I did not have the power for it. Finishing off there on the 40 foot. So the RMZ, we haven't actually talked about it properly yet. What has it taken to get to this point? Obviously, originally, version 1 worked great up until we bent the motor brackets. Then went and fixed the motor bracket, then took it out on the track and blew the gearbox up. Yay. Then decided to now go with 90H water cooled, no gearbox, lost all my bottom end. Then put a massive sprocket on it. Have gone too big and now lost all my top end. We're now like maxing out at like 60, 65 Ks. So hasn't got much top end anymore. So version 4 will be 64 sprocket, and we're going to give that a go. But there's also something else. Liz Cat have actually been kind enough to send us one of their gearbox covers, so super stoked on that. So I need to try it. So we need to get the other 70H motor, the air-cooled version, and run this gearbox cover and see how it holds up. So that will be version 5. after the 64.2 sprocket. And we're going to see. We're going to see how it actually holds up with this new little gearbox cover. First impressions, this thing is beautiful, like really nice. The CNC job is really good. And where mine actually broke is now solid aluminium, where before mine's just like the normal 90H is just like a cast block, and it just cracks around the bearing housing. It's junk. Junk for a motorbike application anyway. I'm sure it probably works great for other applications, but where you're landing on load and whatnot, it doesn't handle it well. So I'm sure you're intrigued to actually know how this bike is running, because we sort of have just breezed over everything. When it comes to battery for this thing, it's obviously running Ultra B battery. It really varies on the day and how I'm feeling and what underpants I've got on to what battery I actually put in this thing. So I can put light B battery in it. I drop like 10 kilos, maybe more in weight, which is awesome. And the bike really actually feels really light and nimble. And then I can put my bigger Ultra B battery in it, 72 amp hour, don't quote me on that, the upgrade EBMX one, and get some decent range out of this thing. As a trail bike with that size battery, it's awesome, it's wicked. But how does it go around the track? Now, if you don't have charging at the track, and this goes for really all electric bikes, you may as well not rock up with one, because there's no point. You get out there. In my case, I've got often 2 batteries, maybe 3, and you know, I might get, it really depends. You know, I might get half hour out of a battery, I might get an hour out of a battery. The EBMX upgraded battery, I'll get almost 2 hours, which is freaking awesome. That's in my riding. As you've seen, like, I don't hammer on real hard. I'll have a couple good hot laps. I'll have a couple good goes. But most of the time I like to just hit jumps. So I'm not really an MX rider, you could call it. I'm more just like hitting jumps and enjoying myself. So yeah, at the moment I'm actually running bypassed Ultra B batteries in this thing at the moment and testing that out. They work. They're also not amazing. So these bigger bikes really need 22S or bigger. The more voltage, the more fun they are. So 22S in this thing, upgrade EBMX Ultra B battery, is amazing. It's awesome. It nearly makes me not need to go a different sprocket size. It's really good. As well as we need, honestly, these QS motors aren't the motor. They're not the motor for this application. I'm sure they're probably great for something else. Full-size dirt bike application, these QS motors aren't that. They're not made for it. You know, they're only $1,000 Australian. I don't know what that is in the States, but they're cheap motors, and they honestly don't work amazing. Like, if you're out at the motocross track, I'm actually getting passed by combustion riders because it actually doesn't have the power that I want. It's no upgraded Ultra B. So you go and jump on our upgraded Ultra B. It has UBX80, big battery, X9000, the works, the wheels, the all the bits and bobs other than the suspension, as you know. It's amazing. It's an animal. It's doing wheel stands out of corners. It's passing combustion riders. They can't even remotely keep up with you. Like, it's wicked. This bike is such a letdown in that application. But it's not that. It needs a different drivetrain. Well, not really a different drivetrain. It just needs a different motor. It needs a different motor and needs at least 22S, is my personal opinion, which has been really quite heartbreaking because I wanted this bike to work well and really tick all the boxes. You know, I wanted at least, you know, at least a bit of decent power, at least be keeping up with the combustion. Now, who's to say I might put 64.2 sprocket on it and it might be pretty good. I'm assuming it should be pretty good. It should be fast enough to clear everything at our local motocross track. But other than that, to be honest with you, this is the ultimate block bike. You're able to ride a full-size dirt bike, and that goes for Stark and all these other things that are coming out at the moment. You're able to ride a full-size dirt bike and not piss anyone off. So that is a feat in itself. That's what makes the electric scene so cool, is because you can do exactly that. You can have your cake and eat it too. Can you go to the track without charging? No, you can't. You're not going to have a good fun. Do your 250 or your 450 and go for gold. Do you want a wicked track bike? that you can get away with riding pretty much anywhere. That's this. That's Stark. That's Ultra Breed, that's Suron. That's any electric bike that it really ticks those boxes, as we know. I love riding this thing around the block here. It's good fun. It's really fun to ride something different other than just my small Suron. I've grown up with motorcycles, but I've never actually had my own full-size dirt bike. So it's really cool to finally have that. But if I'm gonna keep going out to the track, there's no charging there because our track is actually kind of going under at the moment, which really, really sucks to see. But yeah, so they don't have the funding to get things like power out there or whatnot. And I don't want to rock up with a big generator, and that just defeats the whole purpose, you know? So if I'm going to keep going out to the track, I'm going to go buy myself a combustion bike. That's where I sit at the moment. But when it comes to an awesome project and an awesome proof of concept, it's a really sick bike. It is. It's a really fun bike. It's just not there yet. So we're going to try a 64-2 sprocket. Then we're going to go back to gearbox motor with Liz Cat's gearbox cover and give that a rip, see what that's like. I reckon that'll be pretty good because the gearbox motor was pretty good. It gets hot. It does get hot. At the motocross track, it was sitting right around 70. It really didn't drop anywhere lower than that. So the water cooled is really the only option in my opinion. So when it comes to water cooling on this bike, what am I actually using? I'm using an 800 litre per hour water pump. I'm then using a computer radiator. I'm using 8mm hose. That's pretty much it. It works really well. Now that the bike is geared properly and I've taken the load off the motor, it now sits roughly at like 50 degrees, 55, maybe 60 around the motocross track. So really good, what we want to be seeing. And controller does a good job as well. You'd think it being in the back, it does a really good job. It was getting quite hot when I had the controller the other way. You'll see now I've actually turned it back around. So the heatsink is now this way and the air's flowing at it this way. Now it actually does really good. Before it was getting pretty hot before. It was, yeah, getting a bit dicey there, up around 70, which is cut off. So had to turn the controller around. Once I did that, it's now getting proper cooling. So stoked with that. But yeah, this has been an awesome project and a real awesome feat. This pretty much took a year to build. It wasn't a small project. And we had to rebuild everything on this bike from, as you saw there, from suspension to every single bushing, brakes, the lot. We had to rebuild everything. So, you know, it wasn't like I was actually starting off with a decent bike. The whole bike was shagged. So it's been quite an achievement, quite fulfilling, and it is honestly a really awesome bike to ride, especially knowing the amount of work that's gone into it. Tune in next time where you'll be seeing us test out 64-2 sprocket. Fingers crossed this thing actually has some somewhat decent power. It's good. It does wheel stands. That's all it needs to do. Be awesome if you liked, even cooler if you subscribed. We'll see you in the next one.
All for you. It's been a long time, I've been waiting for you.